our last session, we discussed key ESG implications and their operating model impact for investment managers, one of which was the importance of having the right talent and skills. Today, we'll expand on that discussion to address the importance of people, culture, and organization in the context of operating model transformation. Joining me today are my colleagues, Alex and Val. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kai.
I want to start with you, Alex. Can you talk to us a little bit about the types of workforce challenges that investment organizations are facing today?
Yeah, well, Kai, investment managers are under intense pressure to be innovative and collaborative. So as a result, when they are engaging in an operating model transformation, this often entails significant culture and behavior change. This can be difficult to implement and even harder to sustain over time. That's why at PWC, we use tools from the behavioral sciences to help that change become easier for the employees that they're working with. Additionally, functions are increasingly required to reconceptualize their role within the organization. So, for example, operations and technology are being asked to take a client service approach or lens to their work. This involves a deeper understanding of the core business as well as more tailored and customized tools and processes that they push out to their stakeholders. This can be a paradigm shift for some teams and fundamentally reorient the way that they contribute to the organization's mission.
Yeah, no, that's really helpful. There's quite a few pieces of valuable advice in there. Val, for organizations that want to adopt some of those changes, when you think about the life cycle of a transformation, how do you bring that to life?
I would say a transformation is never easy simply because it requires a change in the way we're used to doing things. And you'll also be working with people, which means you'll be working with different personalities and sometimes thick organizational context. So I would say understanding your change agility, including who are your change agents, what are some of the possible factors to change resistance so that you can address those, will be very important. Equally, I would say effective change management and clear governance during the transformation is going to be essential for the success. Also, on the topic of people, being able to assess the future skills as required based on the operating model needs that you have, and being able to align that with your culture will be essential so that you can train, upskill, and hire accordingly.
That's really interesting, and I want to double click on one topic you mentioned, culture. Alex, we talk a lot about culture and the culture that sits behind a high-performing team. Mm-hmm. For organizations that want to instill the culture of a high-performing team in their transformation, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, well, Kai, high-performing teams aren't challenged by change per se, right? It's usually goal conflict, ambiguity, a lack of clarity about what you're trying to get them to do where they can begin to stumble. And this, unfortunately, often happens with attempts by organizations to change their culture. As a result, we recommend starting with a very clear vision of the future state culture you want to achieve. And that means getting specific. It's not enough to have a high-level adjective. Things like client-centric or proactive, they're great sentiments, but they don't guide employee behavior at the margin when they're actually making a decision on the ground. Instead, we try to center culture transformation on the critical few behaviors, a small subset of behaviors that can anchor the overall transformation project, and against which you can mobilize the formal and informal levers of the organization to promote, educate, ensure there's awareness about them, and also just make it easy and intuitive for people to engage in those behaviors.
Yeah, that was terrific. You've given us a lot to think about. You both have. Thank you for joining me today, Alex and Val. This brings us to the end of our session today. I learned a lot, and I certainly hope you did.